was the clutch slipping hard? Alrighty, so today we are going to start tuning the RX-8 a bit more. I've already got a couple of hours logged, and it's driving around, it's going into boost. As long as I don't stab the throttle, it's pretty good because the O2 correction kicks in and controls the AFRs pretty good. I installed the boost controller Mac valve yesterday, so I've now got that tied into the Haltech so I can start trying to control boost a bit. I don't have a button to go high or low boost yet. I'm just going to use TPS, so under 80% throttle, 75% throttle, I'm just going to do gate pressure. Above that, I'm going to do 10 psi. So we're going to pretty much go into the map and do some things on map prediction, boost control, safety, overboost, a bit on the VE, and take it for a drive, get a log, and see what we can do about getting some more power out of it. So we'll switch over to the computer, get that all set up, and then go to the car. Set up the camera in the car so you can start watching that and record the screen while we're doing it. All right, let's get into it. All right, so we're at the computer at the moment, obviously webcam. So we're going to go through a few of the problems of the tune that I've been having. So I've been driving around a few days. Everything works pretty damn well. So the Haltech controls the fuel tuning mostly in closed loop at the moment. So I'm using closed loop through the entire rev range from idle all the way to 9,000 RPM, and in 100% vacuum and 100% boost. So I'm doing that right now to to make my life easier for tuning. You don't want to be doing this all the time because you don't want to rely on the O2 to correct fuel problems in the VE, forever. Generally, you turn off O2 correction, or at least on the stock ECUs and all the other ECUs I've used. You like to turn it off when you go into positive pressure because the O2 can't correct the fuel problems quickly enough when you're inside boost and the revs are going, from 3,000 RPM through to 5,000 or 7,000 in 1 or 2 seconds. But the Haltech seems to be able to control that pretty fucking quickly. It looks like it updates every 1 millisecond, so I might be able to leave it on. I honestly don't know yet. I haven't done enough on it to tell you if that's a good idea or not. But all of the videos I've been watching on tuning Haltechs, even from Haltech themselves, say it's better to leave it on because the O2 can correct mistakes and learn from it and apply it to a long-term trim. So yeah, we might leave it on. I don't know yet. We'll see how it behaves. But I mean, so far it's going pretty damn well, and I haven't done a whole lot to it. It's pretty much tuning itself. So we haven't done anything in here. So this is the base VE map now. Now, essentially, all of this has been tuned almost by the Haltech, minus a few little areas. Like I try to interpolate a few things because getting to 2,000 RPM at 5 psi is pretty much impossible. So you sort of got to ballpark this based off of actual values that and the predicted map, which comes into play here, kind of relies on this to be correct as well, or close. Because if you stab your foot on the throttle and the ECU can't automatically determine where the AFR is going to go, it predicts it until the O2 catches up. So it can't really get an exact figure from going from, say, 2,000 RPM and then stabbing your foot on the throttle 100%. It can't keep up with the O2 to measure the AFR, so it predicts where the fuel is going to need to be. And then, if you're sitting at, say, 3,000 RPM at under vacuum, just cruising around, and you stab your foot on the throttle, the predicted map goes, okay, well, we're going to predict that it's going to change from a vacuum to possibly like a very small amount of boost by 3,500 RPM or 4,000 RPM. So if this value is like 100, for instance, it's going to go way too rich. and you're going to misfire, and it's never really going to do anything until the O2 catches up, and then it goes, oh, you're running too rich, pull fuel out. And then, yeah. So they kind of go hand in hand. So the base fuel map needs to be pretty close for predicted map to work. Now, I haven't done much with this, and I know for a fact that, you know, up here, for instance, I'm going to need more of a positive figure than a negative, because this is made really for a non-turbo. And yeah, it's anything over 50% or even 30% throttle in the RX-8, from 4,000 RPM upwards. As soon as I touch the throttle at those, it's going into positive pressure. So I need to actually tune this and get a benchmark, which I'll probably use Megalog for. I don't know yet how to tune this in Haltech. Like, there's not a lot of information when it comes to more of the advanced tuning in Haltech. It's kind of like, go to your tuner and do it. Problem is I'm the tuner, so I've got to figure it out. So yeah, we'll work on this part later. So the main concern is getting this as populated as possible, using the long-term trims, and it's pretty much doing a good job. This part here is a little bit concerning, because even if you go into the map here, you can see that's what this is right here, this rise. And yeah, you can highlight that, and you can see right there, the blue section is where I've highlighted. So I'm playing with ignition timing at the moment to see if I can get this down, because ignition timing affects VE. So if you run more advanced, you get a cleaner burn, and you need less fuel to do it. So yeah, generally, if you see a spot like this, and this I know for a fact has been tuned to the timing table I was running, and this is the long-term trims that I've been driving around on for I've done maybe about 6 hours of tuning, and that's just been driving around my area, driving on the highway, and I know for a fact all of these from 4,000 and below are all pretty much tuned. So the fact that I'm seeing this here, this big rise, means that something is wrong. And it probably is ignition timing, because it shouldn't jump from 80 to 95 and then back to 85 all of a sudden. And I know that in the ignition tuning side, around, where was it? So minus 11, minus 10, minus 8, PSI at 25 to 30, 25 to 3,000, so these here. So they can probably be, I think the RX8 runs at about 30, 32, 35 degrees there. So, you know, this could probably be the issue right here, is that it's running too advanced, too retarded, and it needs to be advanced a bit. So even on the highway, you know, you'd be sitting roughly about here, and normally you'd be running about 36 degrees timing. So this, like I said, this does need work. I haven't done a whole lot on this yet. I've made it safe where I can go into boost and drive the car, but I haven't done much in the form of, you know, everything below this to get it smooth and get it fuel efficient and so on. So far, I've done, I think, about 220 kilometers, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through a tank of fuel. So yeah, the fuel efficiency right now is shit, but yeah, the timing is not right for the cruising areas. The fuel, it's been running, you know, under boost at like 10.8 AFR, and it's just getting a feel for what the Haltech does and how it works, and letting it tune itself. Like when I first started driving this, I was going into boost at 10.6 and getting some misfires, and now I'm sitting at about 11.1, which I'm asking for 11.3, so it's catching up. It's just taking some time to get there. And if I had a dyno, I could go into open loop and actually tune all this properly, but I don't have a dyno and I'm road tuning this. So I haven't done anything on O2 control. I've started to set up, where is it? Engine functions, overboost cut. I have this now set to 14 PSI. I overlooked that part because I was doing boost control yesterday, and I was like, I need some protection in place, and it was set to 21. So I've dropped it to 14. So if the boost ever hits 14 PSI, it's just going to cut it, ignition cut, to protect the engine now, or fuel cut, sorry. Now I could lower that to 12 because I don't really want to be going to 14, but I'm expecting that it may spike to 14 and then drop down to like 12 or 11. So I'm going to leave it at 14. I've hit 14 once or twice for a split second, and the engine didn't detonate all of a sudden, but you don't want to be running that for very long. Now, boost control, this is what I'm playing with now. So essentially, I've got a three-port Mac valve, not the 4-port. So I'm running 33 hertz. The 4-port apparently runs 20 hertz. Yeah, minimum, maximum duty cycle 0 to 100. Integra max 100%. So this is all standard. Max derivative 14.5, and overboost offset is 5. So overboost offset is the one I was concerned about. So as I'm tuning the boost control, so my target pressure is 8 psi. Essentially, that means at 75% throttle, it's going to target 8 psi instead of 6.5 on gate pressure. So if the boost goes 5 psi above 8 because of this setting here, then it's going to cut the boost back to gate pressure until it can try and control it, which is fine because that's 12 psi, and I've run 12 psi for a few pulls, and yeah, it felt awesome, but it wasn't tuned for that, and the Adaptronic couldn't handle it, so I didn't run it for very long. But essentially, I know the engine can handle 12 to a degree. The fuel probably can't because 10-to-1 compression ratio, but pulled a little bit of timing out to make sure that that's not going to be a problem, and run very rich in that area to prevent detonation. So 12 psi is fine. Now, essentially what we need to do is I've scaled this to go, right, well, gate pressure is between here and here. So technically 6.5 psi should be 0%, 6 is 0%. 7 psi is, I'm guessing, a very small amount of duty cycle because I am doing boost control through the Mac valve, going through and teeing off from the turbo to the wastegate. It's teeing off to the Mac valve, and then the Mac valve is coming back and going into the wastegate top to force the diaphragm down, which is one of the things I mentioned in the previous video. When I was on the dyno, you could see the boost level was going like this and spiking and going down and up. And I'm assuming that's because the wastegate was floating like this, trying to stay closed and opening and closing and opening. So I'm hoping that forcing that wastegate down will stop that from happening. It's a little bit harder to set up, but if it works, awesome. So yeah, I haven't done any actual testing on this yet. All I've done is set it up and made sure that I'm getting gate pressure. And that was because I had this set to 75%, and I had the target pressure set to 7 psi, and I was getting 6.9 psi. But looking in the long-term trim, I was getting nothing here. So I'm assuming, yeah, it wasn't actually doing anything because the boost pressure was lower than the gate pressure. So now that I've set this to 8, I'm expecting to get a little bit of movement in the long-term trims and a little bit of movement in duty cycle here, so we can actually start tuning this and getting a bit more boost control ability. I'm looking at buying a Haltech CAN keypad as well, because I want to be able to control the boost from the car, and turn traction control on or off, set, you know, if launch control is going to be armed or disarmed or whatever, and yeah, do all that from where the cigarette lighter is in front of the gear shifter. So I'll probably order that next week maybe, and then I can run multiple boost levels and have all that control from inside the car just by running one CAN bus cable to the ECU. So we're going to try this on 8 psi and have a look and see if anything shows up in the long-term trims. I do have to actually set this up as well, so we'll just do that to 6 and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, whoops, not 414, 14. Target pressure 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15. Yeah, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Oh, you can't have any more, can you? No, whatever. I'm never going to hit 4. Hopefully I'm not going to run 14 until I'm E85 or flex fuel, so that can stay like that. And then, yeah, obviously if anything happens in here, we'll actually get a trim for it. Yeah, and I'm not running any corrections whatsoever. Now, the only other thing I did have to play with was decel, because that was driving me mental. It was backfiring like crazy. So this seems to work pretty good now. I had to change engine demand to 0% because engine demand was never going to 0. So decel fuel cut was never really triggering for some reason. I just can't figure out why. But as soon as you let your foot off the accelerator, it was just going bang, 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 all the way back down to 1500 RPM until I clutched in. Where now it does it for the delay time, so 1.5 to 2.5 seconds, and then it just smooths out and just goes normal. And I did have to enrich the fuel a little bit because when I was coming off from a decel into normal acceleration or acceleration enrichment or map prediction, it would go really, like it was sitting about 16 AFR and then come down by O2 control. So I enriched it by 30%, and now it's when I come off of decel into map prediction and then into O2 control, it's sitting at about 11.5. So I need to also tune that as well a little bit. So the AFR goes like full lean to 20, and then as I come back on the accelerator, it goes full rich and then comes back up and goes like this. So yeah, we'll have a look at the log anyway and show you what that looks like. But yeah, everything else is going really well. Yeah, and I did also do gear ratios, so kilometers per hour. Did that yesterday, so now the Haltech knows what gear I'm in based off of what, how many kilometers per hour per RPM I have, and I needed that for, I don't remember actually, what was that for? Might have been diesel. Yeah, I don't know. Now, I did have, launch control I haven't played with, traction control. So there's not a whole lot you can actually do here. But I haven't done anything here, but yeah, I wanted to set this up so I can actually use it and turn it on or off. So if I want to, go to a skid pad, that I can turn it off and go be stupid in a skid pad per se, and then turn it back on when I leave. But I'm waiting for rain, funnily enough, to test this, so I know if traction control is actually working or if it's not. I haven't lost traction yet, and being that when I stab the throttle, I am getting really rich, and then the boost is building up, and then O2 is taking over, and then it's fine. I don't want to risk doing that in the wet or in the dry. I'd rather just wait till I know it's working. So everything else is good. I did find an oil leak on my car from that damn Franklin Performance adapter. So unfortunately, I have to take the intake manifold off to have a look at the pedestal because it's leaking between the rear iron. There's a sandwich plate, and then there's a pedestal, and there's two Allen key bolts on there. I tried to get an Allen key in there and tighten it up, and I just can't get enough room in there. So I got to pull the upper intake manifold off, and then do those bolts up. We'll see how tight they are, and then if I can't get it any tighter, then I got to pull the damn thing off and apply some, or change the gasket maybe, or apply some sealer on it and put it back on. Anyway, it's enough that I'm getting a drip every now and then, but it's still a leak, and I didn't have any leaks whatsoever until I put that on. So unfortunately, got to come off and fix that. So I'll just do a once over on this tune, then upload it, and we'll go for a drive and see how it behaves. All right, so before I go driving the car, I decided I'm going to do the map prediction because that part is pissing me off. So we're going to try to Megalog again, so the same thing that we did before for the Adaptronic. We're just going to modify it a little bit. So we'll see what we can do. I've got a few logs here from a couple of days ago. So I guess we'll just do the last one. How long is this? Yeah, that's long enough. Oh geez, there's a lot of information in these logs, eh? I've got to turn off some stuff because there is way too much info. It's 140 seconds. That's heaps long enough. So we're going to here. Adaptronic map prediction. All right, so this is one that I set up for the Adaptronic. Obviously, there's nowhere near as much information in it. So I need to change these values here and these values here to match the Haltech. And that did not work. Oh, Jesus. It worked the other way, but not this way. Oh, right, I had to change. Jesus Christ. So we've got to swap these around. So this has to be TPS, and this has to be RPM. That's a bit better. So because it's recorded in kPa, I had to convert it using a custom calculated field in Megalog. So now we've got this value, which is a bit more realistic, but it's weird that, yeah, not as much vacuum at the top here. So maybe might have to exclude these or interpolate it. Probably wasn't in that enough because I haven't gone to 6,000 RPM much. So, yeah, and 1% throttle is very hard to get to. So the only thing I might not do is leave these out because this is a custom field in here, which is just map times 0.2953. So map times kPa value. So 1 kPa, or 1 inch of mercury is equal to 0.02953 inches of mercury. Yeah, whatever. So we can pretty much take this here. Anything, obviously, this isn't in PSI, this is in inches of mercury. So I might need to extend that formula to also include PSI. So to be like after 100 kPa, it's then, so if it's greater than 100 kPa, which is atmospheric pressure, then it switches to PSI. So there's 100 kPa per 14.7 PSI, and do magical math on that. But my main concern right now is just doing the vacuum side of things. And then I'll work on the boost pressure because I haven't been able to go into boost that much. So we'll apply this. So from 3, yeah, all the way down to here. So we'll copy that. So 3% throttle, 4,000 RPM. So this one here, all the way up to 20%. So yeah, right here. Can I just paste it? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Now, that changed a hell of a lot. Interesting. So, now we can look at the difference between here and here. Like, look at the jump. Like, you'd think as you're increasing the RPM and you're going into vacuum, you generally would have more vacuum, not less, because it goes up. So 15, 19, 20, 21. So you'd expect that to be 22, 23. And then it probably won't go much more than that, because I don't think I've seen more than 22 inches of mercury in vacuum. I think the maximum I've seen is 22. So yeah, anyway, we'll go through, clean this up. And yeah, obviously we want to have a nice smooth transition to this. So yeah, I'll spend some time on this and we'll clean it up. All right, so this is what I've done so far. I need more logs. I've opened a couple of logs and yeah, I've got a bit more at the top here. So this is obviously still in kPa. And that's equal, I think that one, that there's like 2 PSI, that's like 3, that's, yeah, but I don't have enough in the top end with boost to be able to do that part, and I need to do that, but I couldn't do that without the bottom end being useful, because yeah, every time I stabbed the throttle, it would go over here and then just go really, really rich and wouldn't go into boost. So I had to like slowly increase my foot. So it was like 5, 10, 20, 40, 60% throttle in order to actually get into boost. Otherwise it goes to the map prediction, goes way too rich, misfires, and then feels like shit. So we got to try this, go in the car, see if it works, see if it's fucking terrible or not. If it is, revert it, get a proper new log specifically for this, and see what we can come up with. So we'll swap over to the car and go for a drive. So yeah, as you can tell, this is the map prediction that we had previously, which is way different to what was being logged. So just gonna open this and make sure the fucking time is right, which it is not. Not connected to Wi-Fi. That'll fucking help, ain't it? Okay, now we have 12:30 on the 3rd.
That's a bit better. Alright, so we'll write all this. Reboot it. And we'll give it a try. I don't know why I keep getting that check engine light. What is that for? Ground sensor loop. Yeah, that has been coming up non-stop lately. I don't know if it's a bug or I've actually done something wrong. No, we'll see. So taking a look at this. Idle control, long-term trim. Corrections, coolant temp correction. Yeah, 11.0, that's relatively rich. We drop that down a couple of percent. Smooth out the idle a little bit. Didn't do shit. Yeah, anyway, we'll give it a minute to warm up before I try doing anything. Let's get the dash up on the Haltech display. 6 degrees. Alright, so we'll log to the computer. And that's what happens if you fuck it up. And stays lean and it just stalls. So, going to map prediction. Interesting. She's running a bit rich now. That timing definitely made a change because now it wants to pull fuel out of these areas. Before it was adding fuel. Yeah, adding a few degrees of timing has definitely reduced that hump there. Now we've got an idle problem. It just never ends, does it? Never ends. See if it stalls. Oh, close. It was fucking close to stalling at that point. You see the bouncy, bouncy, bounce, and then it just smooths out. So I think I might have a PID problem in the idle control for that. But it also, one thing I've learned about idle control is if you don't have your base fuel map set up correctly, then your idle control is never going to be right. You're going to fucking go around in circles all the damn time trying to chase an idle problem. Where ideally you send your idle control into open loop, get a base mark, tune your fuel, and then turn idle control into closed loop. But multiple ways to do it. I got the idle relatively good, and then you make a small change to the VE map and the idle goes out the fucking window. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. Only thing I want to see is the prediction of the map. Yeah, there it goes. That spool assist, holy shit. Okay, so we went to 10.9 AFR and hit a misfire. And that was only about 50% throttle. Let's see if it stalls here. No, it did not. Interesting. Now, what? Oil metering pump. Skipped a step. I keep getting that damn error, and I don't know why. I can't change anything on the OMP settings in the Haltech, so don't know. So that's 7 PSI. AFRs are a little bit all over the place. So I think we need a little bit more injector, boost control duty cycle to get it up a bit more, because we hit 7 and then it went down and up and down and up and down and up. So we might need to change that a little bit, but hopefully the boost control of long-term trim will kick in and actually do something about that. Because apparently the Haltech can learn from its mistakes, or learn from your mistakes, and modify the duty cycle if the target is not what it's supposed to be. It's called self-learning. Yeah, it was pretty damn nice, that one. I don't know what boost that was because I was too busy looking at the AFR, but the log will tell me. This time I'll look at the boost gauge. Yeah, it's getting better. So that's 6 PSI. Okay, so I didn't realize that the microphone was not working at this point. So this is just a voiceover on top of it. So essentially what I'm doing in here is just applying all the long-term trims that were logged during the log that we did. So that's for the idle control, and then for O2 correction for long-term trims in here. So yeah, pretty much just looking at it, going, okay, we've finally got some logs under boost, and it's pulling fuel out and adding fuel under here. Yeah, quite a bit of fuel. So we just apply that to the base table, and then come back in and have a look and see what it did. So you can see there's quite a bit that changed. A little bit more timing I think is needed to pull that down, but yeah, we'll get into that shortly. And I'll just fast forward through most of this so we can see what's going on. But you can see that big rise just there. That's, yeah, it doesn't feel normal. It feels like there's something wrong. So we need to figure that out as well. So I will fast forward through this until we get to the microphone working, so you can actually understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so for some reason my microphone wasn't working. It's plugged into USB. Whatever, it works now. So we're opening up the logs, and it's on the other screen. So
So I got a workspace set. See if it'll load. Sometimes this crashes. Oh, it did not. Cool. So let's have a look at manifold pressure. So yeah, max PSI was 5.8. You can see it right there. Let's have a look at boost control. Boost control output. Let's put that in the middle here. Okay, so it was doing something. 5%. Okay, so towards the end of the log when I was pushing my foot down. Why are they both blue? How annoying. So what's here? 100% boost control output. Interesting. So let's have a look here. So that must be the spool up assist there, and then it drops. I'm assuming anyway, I don't actually know. And then it should be at 5%. Okay, so I changed it to 10%. And then we try it again, right at the end. So that's the spool up assist, and then that's still 5%. What the hell? Interesting. I need to change that color because I can't even see it. Let's change it to green. Oh, there we go. Now I can see it. It's right at the fucking bottom. So yeah, it looks like it's not doing a fucking thing. Well, it tried to right there, but it just nothing happened. So 5% it went to 6.2 psi, which is what I was getting on gate pressure anyway. So it's probably just not enough. What's happening here? Generic output SSV. On, off, on, off. Why is that triggering on and off? It's interesting. In the wideband, I mean, look at that, 11.8 the whole way through. It's pretty fucking good. Does a pretty good job at targeting. Interesting. We're gonna have a look back through a couple of these longer pools. See if we can have a look at the SSV to see what's going on there. Because yeah, look at it, it's fucking up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But the AFR is pretty stable. Now the only thing I did change in here was I put my generic SSV condition to injected average duty cycle greater than 80%. So I guess that is a problem, because if the stage 1 injected duty cycle goes to 80% and it triggers a second stage to kick in, then stage 1 is going to drop because stage 2 has come on, which means it's probably going to trigger the SSV to turn off. So we'll just go back to the way that we were. So that was injector 1 duty cycle is greater than 80%, 70%. Then open the SSV. Yeah, still 6.3 psi. Duty cycle 5%. So it is trying. I just think I need to increase that a lot more. So 5% doesn't do shit. So that's either that or I've got something wired in wrong. So I wonder if we can go into here and add 6.5. And what was that? That's more like 6.3 in it. I mean, even 5%, it was still dropping below 6 psi. 5.9. So I don't know. I'm sure I was getting more than that last night.
Actually, where's my TPS? Throttle position. Yeah, that's 100% there. Yeah, 6.5, 6.2, 6, 5.9, 6. And that's full flat 5%. That's that little curve just here. Little green one. Interesting. So 6.5, 5%. And then what we got there, 4,500 RPM. So we could come in here and say, okay, well, here it needs to, well, from here upwards it needs to go up a little bit. Because you can see the boost dropped, and then dropped, and then rose, and then dropped, and then dropped, and then I let off. And that would be because AFR went to 10.3. Whew. That's rich. So, alright, we have some playing to do here. And also need to look at the log in Megalog. See if we have a bit better map prediction. But that map prediction worked pretty well. It just, when it was cold, it was trying to stall. Yeah, I don't actually know. Give this a minute to load up. Fuel pressure. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That must be in kPa as well. Nice. Ooh, look at that. That's a lot more data. So I hit that a couple of times, didn't it? And probably because it was almost stalling, so that makes sense. Alright, so let's have a look at this map prediction for a sec. Now, just obviously I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm figuring this shit out as I go. So keep that in mind. Come along for the journey. Alright, so 16, 15, 13. Yeah, as I expect, it would decrease as the RPM decreases because there's not as much vacuum. So 3% throttle, 600 RPM. 3%, 600, minus 14. Oh, wrong fucking one. Minus 12. It's pretty close. Pretty close, pretty close. We might take, how many hits did that get? 21. That's pretty accurate. So 3% throttle from 6,000 to 600. Didn't change a whole lot. Well, I did down the bottom here, so that might help with the stalling problem because it was overestimating. 4 from 500 the whole way up to. So we'll see how this goes. It might work, it might be a bad idea. But I'm interested to see what happens here. This is my main concern, is this rich value. And like I said, timing affects your VE. So the more retarded timing you have, the more fuel you need to dump in to get the same result. And the more advanced timing you have, the less fuel you need to get a better result. So yeah, anyway, you can figure that shit out. Like I said, this was 90, 93 or something, and now it's 88, and all I did was add like 2 degrees of timing. So we've added a bit more. Should see a change in here. Boost control, so targeting 8, trying to get to 8, not doing anything. So we'll change this to 5. 7 PSI. Let's try 12% here, 15% here, 17, 20, 22, 24, 6, 28. I have no idea if that's going to work. Wouldn't have a fucking clue because I haven't seen any difference in boost pressure from having 5 on there. So if we have 12 on there and we see a boost rise, we know it's doing something. But until I see the boost increase, I don't trust it. Yeah. Alright. We'll upload this and we'll try it again. Alright, so I went to go get some fuel and decided I'll just do the do the log while I was getting fuel, and I didn't record it. Kind of wish I did, because holy fuck, that was an entirely different car. Yeah, it caught me by surprise. I haven't felt that much power in this car before, and I was only at like 7 PSI. Even at 10 psi when I got the dyno done, it didn't feel like this. So this comes on and it is like fucking holy shit. So anyway, duty cycle works. So I actually got to the servo after the first time I put my foot down and went, nah, that's got to come down because that's too much. And yeah, I dropped it to 12% duty cycle and then ramped it up to 15. 15 gives me 7.2 psi, I think. Let me have a look at the log. Okay, yeah, just opening that one. So 7.3 psi, 7.8 psi was on the way to the servo. But yeah, see, even though I'm logging to the computer, when I put my foot down past 50%, Haltech creates another log, which is for the 10 seconds that I've set. And that's done by throttle position above 50%. So let's have a look at this. Get over there. Got two screens, so yeah. This didn't want to load up while I was at the servo. It just kept like that. That's exactly what we did. Try this one. Maybe there's something wrong with the workspace. Seems to happen a lot, this. Yeah. Oh, I guess I'll do it manually. Alright, so the other thing I want to look at is boost. Boost control output. We'll add that to a new channel. Actually, boost control output, display on new trace. So I guess you can only really see the, yeah, get over there. So yeah, it spool assist kicks in and just smashes the boost up. And then we have 13% duty cycle there, and we're at what, 6.9, and then 7.3, 7.2, 7, 6.9, 6.7, 6.8, 6.5. So that's what I'm seeing just up here. And this one, it's a little bit different. Yeah, interesting. Whoa, what happened then? Like, yeah, scroll in and just fucking shoot you right to the moon. So yeah, 11.2 AFR there, 11.3, which is awesome. It did lean out a little bit to 12.2, 12.3. Target was 11.8. So I got a little bit of fucking fine tuning to do here. But I guess I should probably check the generic condition output. Tray, yeah, okay, so this is perfect. Like, look at how good is that? And that is because of injector. So if we go injector stage 1 average duty cycle, and then injector stage 2 active duty cycle, as soon as injector stage 1 starts to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm maxed out, SSV opens, and then stage 2 injectors start firing pretty much straight away after that. So that white line there is the SSV opening, the blue line is the second injectors, so that's timed perfectly. Couldn't ask for that better. Yeah, so we've still got some fine tuning to do with the boost control, but yeah, so 12%, was it 12%, 12 to 15%? I didn't go much higher than that on the RPM. I think I went to about 5,500, 6,000. And throttle position was at 50%. And yeah, that was enough for me to go, yeah, either I'm not reading the boost pressure right, or this car just feels fucking awesome, because there was way too much power there for 7 psi. So I didn't go much harder than that because I didn't trust it. But now, seeing that, I can go harder and yeah, finally actually tweak the duty cycle. So we know that roughly 12%, I think it was here. So looking at this one, so this is 74% throttle position. And yeah, boost control, where's boost control? Right there, so that's 13%. 6 psi, 6.1, 7, 7.2, 7.3. Okay, 7.3 is 13.5% duty cycle. So we're looking at this top here, 7.3 psi. Boost control output, 13.5%. So then as we come down to 4,500 RPM, boost drops to 7 psi. So, and that's still at 13.5%. So that will be here. So we need to increase that a little bit. By how much? We could probably just like, I mean, I guess I'm targeting 8 and I'm only getting 7. So it needs to go up a little bit. So we can probably go from here and go 13 here and go 15 until we get more information, and 16 and 17, and then we'll go 17 and go 17. And then what I want to do here is horizontally interpolate these so that there's meaning to it. Yeah, and I think we'll give that a try. I've got to go out again soon, so I might even vertically interpolate that. Yeah, so that comes on fucking hard. Yeah, okay, we'll do horizontal interpolation for that too. And we know 0% is 6 psi because that's what I had on before. Yeah, we've got to test this. So what you got to, a couple of videos I've been watching on this says you go into here and you set your target boost pressure here. You set it to whatever your lowest pressure is, so the wastegate spring, I'll set it to 0 if you want. And then whatever you get here, that'll be your 0. So if your wastegate pressure is 6, then that should be 0% duty cycle. Then come in and set it to 8 or 10 or something, and work out, from here at 10 psi is your target. Increase your duty cycle by 5% each run until you start seeing a movement, and then work out how far it is. And if you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm getting 8 psi, and you're at 12% duty cycle, then you come into to 8 psi and you put 12% there, and then you put it up another 3% or 5%, and you'll get, say, 17%, and that gives you 9 psi. Then you put 17% here, and then you sort of work up. So next time you want to lower your boost pressure, you can come into here and go, I want 7 psi. Your duty cycle's already set for that. You don't have to worry about it. At least that's how I understand it. But like I said, I'm new to this Haltech business, and yeah, I guess we'll see how that goes now. I've got to go for a drive soon, so yeah, we'll try this out and see what happens. All right, so it's another day. Now we've gone for a couple of drives. Set it to the microphone down, it was way too loud. So we've made a few changes, quite a few changes. So I've reduced the VE quite a lot at the top end, because I was getting still getting that really annoying rich spot. So every time I put my foot on the accelerator, AFR would just go plummet down to like 11 or 10, and then come up to normal target, and then when you let off the accelerator, it goes full lean, then goes down, then goes lean again. Yeah, so I tried this morning, and we're going to have a look at the log for this. So we go into the log. It's been quite a few logs, obviously. Just wait for the logs to actually populate. So boost control is starting to get better, so I'm asking for 8 and I'm getting 8.1. So that's pretty damn good. And yeah, this one was 8.3, a little bit higher RPM. So let's have a look at this one. When it decides to open. There it is. Alright, so we'll load the workspace, hopefully it doesn't crash again. Awesome, it does not. So we can see there's a few, I did a few pulls on this, but I'm looking for a high throttle position. Yeah, so like that one. So I think if you go like this and you zoom in, it just goes fucking zoom straight into where you're highlighting. So if you're only highlighting this and you zoom in, it just zooms straight in. So yeah, keep that in mind. This log view is a little bit weird to get used to. Like, I've been using Megalog for so long, and that's just, I'm used to it, where this is like, holy shit, like what am I dealing with? So we got a ramp up from 40% throttle, so I was at 7 psi there, straight to 99% throttle, and it hit 7.9 psi, and then started dropping 7.8, 7.7, 7.9, 7.8, 7.4, 7.3. Now granted, the throttle position did drop from 91% down to 70%, so I might leave the duty cycle alone for that, but the main thing I'm looking at here is this here. So we've still got a very small rich spot right there, so it was 11.5 and I was asking for 12.5, but everywhere else, you know, there is a little bit rich, there's a little bit lean, and there's a little bit rich. But I let off the accelerator a little bit there, so kind of expected it, because it was queued up ready to go and go, hey, there's fuel coming, and then I let off the accelerator, so I think it was already queued and it was already dumping it, because there's a fuel film on the intake manifold, and that's probably already pulled up, so I might just need to decrease the pull or something. Yeah, something I read last night about it. But yeah, that seems to work pretty well anyway. So the boost controller duty cycle ended up being about 21%. So I guess we'll see how that goes with a wide open throttle pull that's not short. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's not 100% throttle there, but even that was 7 psi, so that was pretty good. So I could probably increase the duty cycle anyway, because I'm seeing that even on 50% throttle, that it's stable at 8, but as soon as you start increasing the RPM past 5500, the boost pressure starts to drop. So if you have a look in engine functions, boost control, duty cycle, 8 psi, what did I say that was? 5500, so about 6000 RPM. So 5000 RPM is good. Yeah, 5000 is good. But 5500 it starts to drop. And but here is okay, so it's like 6000 onwards. So yeah, so if you let your foot off the accelerator, then obviously it's going to start dropping. So we'll just go up another 1% here. It'll interpolate between 5 and 6,000, and we'll go up 0.6 here. Or actually, we'll just fucking vertically interpolate it. Fuck it. And we have no idea if any of this is good yet, so we will. What if I do linearize? What does that do? Yeah, that changes everything. I don't like that. So D just cycles through this view. I kind of like seeing this, but yeah, we'll see, because 8 psi it's pretty rock solid here. I didn't worry too much about 7 psi. That was, yeah. We'll probably bump that up to about 10. Leave that, because this is more spool up. And increase by 1, and increase by 1, then increase by 1, increase by 1, increase by 1. And see what that does. And horizontally interpolate that. So now that should be nice and smooth-ish. Cool. Alright, now have a look at the fuel base map. So this did work really well. Didn't stall at all, didn't have many problems. Backfiring still, like under decel is still there a little bit. It's not as bad as what it was. Sometimes it's just like bang, 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 bang the whole way from 5,000 all the way down to idle. Where sometimes it does it for the 1.5 seconds and then stops. So anyway, we'll have a look here. Now what we can do is do the live log and trace it, or we can just work out here 4500 RPM to 5000 RPM at 7.5 psi to 8 psi is the problem. So about here, and so between here and here is the problem. So we can reduce that down a little bit, or run the live log and trace it. So I'm going to try tracing it and see if that's any more accurate than what I can be, which it probably could be. Alright, so I've got the log open now. So we'll just go straight through to, say, about here. Play that, trace it, and we'll just watch to see where it goes. I don't know if there's a quick button for pause, that'd be nice. So you can see right there, she's rich, and then she leans a little bit, and then goes rich. So that's interesting. So that wants to go up, and that wants to go down. The problem is, I guess the longer you stay in a cell, the more information it's going to get, and that literally just went skip past it. Yeah. So that's 11.5, 11.8, 11.6. Yeah, all these are a little bit rich. That's like a tip-in kind of rich. And that's a lean rich. Lean rich. A lean. Like I said, it moves that quickly that you can't really get a good figure on it. So we'll do another one. Hey, jump straight past it. Play. Alright, so exactly the same line, like literally exactly the same between both pulls. Still says a little bit lean there, but it's nowhere near as bad, so that's what I mean. It's, yeah, that's different though. But everywhere's pretty damn good, like it's self-tuning itself pretty good. Like it needs a little bit of help, but what's that, 11.8, 11.6, so yeah, we could probably, actually that one's fine this time. Little tiny bit more fuel in there. So we'll apply that. That's different. Does that change a lot? Interesting. You apply one here and it changes everything down here. Never noticed that before. I don't know if that was just my eyes, but I'm going to watch that again. Hey, did it skip past it again? So this time it's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to push R, so it says press R to quick tune this cell, right? Press R, but you watch like down everywhere it changes. This all changed. Everywhere changed. See, I would have thought that would only be that cell that you applied it to that would actually apply that figure, but not everywhere. But it did it to everywhere. So it did it to that one, but it also changed all of this. I don't know. I might have to ask Haltech about that, but whatever. So I guess we'll do it manually because I don't trust that. Okay, so I might just leave that. I'll just reset it back to what it was. We'll get some better logs for the 8 psi mark. I don't trust it. It's like it's saying I need to remove 6% there, but that drops the VE down to the same as if it was in idle, like in here. So something's not right. So I'll leave that. We'll do another log try and get to the 8 psi and then the 9 psi, and then we'll come back and do this. The AFRs being richer isn't a problem. As long as it doesn't go below to 10.7 or 10.6, then it's going to start misfiring. But at 11 it's fine, it's just going to be a little bit safer but use more fuel. So we'll do the boost first and then we'll come back to this. But I did put that back. I did want to come back to this because the jerkiness that I had yesterday or the day before, it's been a long couple of days, I think it was the day before, I don't think that was related to the timing. And I really want to get rid of this massive fucking spot just here that is just rich as hell. So I think we'll go 2.5 through to 3.5 from 11 through to 4.4. 2.5 to 3.5, 11 through to 4.4. So here, and we'll just add some more timing into it. Because I think the base map runs at about 32 degrees at this point in Versatuner with the non-turbo. Obviously it's very little load anyway, so yeah, we'll just add a couple of degrees of timing. Yes, and then what we'll do is we'll interpolate this up to here and do a vertical interpolation so it's not so fucking much of a jump in timing. And then we will do a vertical interpolation here and bring that up as well so it doesn't just go from like 19 to 25 or 26. And we'll see how that goes. I really want to see if this drops because, like I said, Versatuner had this as well, but it wasn't this bad. It was a fucking like a just sharp rise and then drop again, but it wasn't like 15% extra fuel. So we'll try this, see what happens. If it starts jerking again, I'll just go back to the way it was. So save this as revision 3. But I want to override the change that we've made in case I need to go back. And we'll go for a drive and see what it does. It's the next morning. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I've got to go out to Motorsport Accessories to fix one of their computers. So they're out at Brendale, so it's about a 20-minute drive out there. So we're going to log this while driving and also record it. So just setting up some of these windows because I hate it how the windows keep changing. Now, I did start it last night and I found a problem with, I think it's map prediction, because I can't rev the car too hard or it fucking goes super rich. So, I don't think I added these. I don't remember adding these. But, the fuck? Maybe map prediction is somewhat automatic? Who knows? Apparently it's supposed to have some trims, but that's a lot of fucking prediction. Let's just zero this out because, yeah, that's not right. Well, that changed a lot, didn't it? Yeah, I think it's automatically changing itself. Because that's different. Oh, listen to that water. There's a bit of water in there. The heater core does not work very well, so I probably need to flush it. I'm assuming it's blocked. What's the temperature right now? Not on here, is it? Yeah, 77 degrees. That's better. Now it's not predicting 7 psi fuel. Now it's not going into, it was going to like 8 AFR. It was fucked. So, anyway, we'll just get going. Just gonna record this fucker to the computer. Start recording to PC and we'll get going. Yeah, we're gonna put this right here, I guess. Yeah, no. There's no good place to put a microphone. I don't really want to be putting it. I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, I'm back. I was sitting here and like, I see steam coming from, it was just in the corner here. And yeah, I've got a slight coolant leak and it's dripping onto the exhaust manifold. So, I guess we'll be fixing that later today too. But, gotta go to Motorsport Accessories to drop off a server. And I may as well grab some shit while I'm there now, because yeah, I've got to fix this fucking leak before Friday. But we'll see what happens. Now let's stop logging and then start logging again. Let's go. It's funny, it's not enough to leave it on the ground because as soon as it hits that exhaust, it just fucking disintegrates into steam. We do have a container of water in the boot as well, so if I get there and I find that I'm missing a little bit too much coolant, I can just fill the cunt back up. See what this rich spot does now. Definitely more harsh on the on-off throttle. Yeah, she goes lean pretty hard there. Maybe I need to pull timing out rather than adding timing in. Have a look at the trims in a minute. But I can see it going up to 15 AFR. So I got the O2 sensor here, O2 lambda here, the actual and the request. I can see it's going like 14, 14.5 and then going to 15.1, 15.2, then back down to 14.5. So I think it's in that little hump and then it needs more fuel. So maybe we just need to decrease or retard the timing, get it down a bit. That was a bit fucking harsh. That was 9. I think that spiked like 9 psi and then dropped. But she kicked hard. Still don't know. That's interesting. Everything's wavy. Just noticed that. It's not normal. So up, 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 up. Maybe the alternator's not charging correctly. Because that could be a voltage problem. Spiking up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. We will see. Of course, there's traffic now. God damn it. Yeah, look at the voltage. 13, 14, 13, 14, 13, 14. I need to increase the duty cycle, I think. Interesting. Electrical. Alternator control. Base. Maybe this is too high, eh? Drop that back down to 35%. I think I had it at 35 originally. I don't know why it was changed. Oh, this is that clutch pedal. Ah, this is shit. Well, I'm going to leave the recording here because we're stuck in traffic. So this is going to be a very, very boring long video. So we might record this on the way back home. So we'll see you soon. Alright, so decided I'm probably going to record this part because we've got a nice clean run to 100 k's an hour. So we'll have a look at this and see what this looks like, see if it'll behave. See if I can do a wide open throttle first and second and third maybe. Well, that was the clutch slipping hard. Well, we got a decent fucking jump on it, but clutch couldn't handle it. So that's the first time it's done that. So we're definitely making more than 260 or 270 horsepower because it didn't do that on the dyno. But I can smell clutch bad right now. It is fucked. So it took off. Fucking kicked out sideways a little bit. Second, it could not hold it. It slipped the whole way up to like 6,000 RPM. So need new clutch. But anyway, we'll have a look at the log when we get back on that because we should be able to see wheel slip angle. That'll be fucking cool to see. So we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so it's been a couple of days of tuning and running around and doing some stuff. And my map is not here. God damn it. It's revision 4 that I'm looking for. But essentially what's happened, I've got the boost control mostly sorted out. I was asking for 10 PSI and I was getting like 9.8. And then as you could see from the intro to this video, the clutch can't handle it. So I've had to drop it back down to 8, which is more like 7.5 to 7.8. And that seems to be holding okay. I get the occasional little slip, but nothing major. But the problem that I have now is for some reason when I come down from high RPM, it's fine. So back to idle. But when I come from say 4,000 RPM or 3,000 RPM down to idle, it drops below 1,000 to like 500 and then stall saver kicks in and then shoots it up to 1,500 and then it drops again and shoots up and then it stalls. So I'm trying to work that out to see what the fuck's going on there. So I'm just going to give this a minute to synchronize this revision that I've got on my laptop, and then yeah, I'll come back and have a look and see what we can work out to see why it's doing it. And as soon as I paused the video, it came straight up. So yeah, obviously from the latest cruise that I was in a couple of days ago, yesterday, day before, we've got a fair bit of changes to the map. So we've pulled out a bit of fuel up here, and yeah, I think it was like 1% or something. And yeah, the idle control was removing a little bit out of the closed loop idle. So under here, closed loop. So we're down to 38.7, 37.4. which doesn't seem right. I mean, that could be half the problem, but I guess we'll see. So we'll just smooth that out. 44. See, why does it go up there? Doesn't make much sense to why it goes up and then down. So I think I might need to what am I trying to say? Words are hard today. I need to slow down the closed loop learning on the idle control, because I seem to be, like, I went from being really good and it would idle perfectly, it would come back to idle fine, it wouldn't fucking drop, and now all of a sudden, you know, this has started dropping down to 38s, 37s, where it was at 39 to 40, and I didn't have a problem with that, and now this is happening. But I think we do need to come back to adjust some of these PIDs. I might need to increase these a little bit, and maybe look at the ignition correction factors, and see if we can smooth this out. Because yeah, it's definitely not ideal. Like when I was on the cruise, it stalled probably 6 times, and it was always coming back to idle at a set of traffic lights or whatever. It would, you know, you'd change gear down, it would do pop, and then just come down to 1,000, and then just keep dropping, and then come up, and then keep dropping, and then come up, and then sometimes I'd be like, okay, I'll give it a rev, and then it would stay up, and then it would come down, and then it would idle fine. Other times it would just drop straight to stall. So annoying. No idea why. Guess we can adjust some of these settings as well, because I did change these up a little bit. That was fine. Yeah. And was a D-cell offset? Where the hell's D-cell? Is that under? No, right fucking there. So yeah, it retards ignition on the D-cell by 10 degrees. Fuel enrichment 30%. Min gear, yeah, I guess it was second that was doing it as well. And I did add 1% engine demand back onto there too. Minimum RPM, you know, I guess we could try increasing that again, because that was pretty high. That might be a bit better of an option. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So we'll set that to 1500 and then set these to 1400. I think that's what I had originally and it worked fine, but it caused a little bit of stuttering coming on and off. And diesel cut delay time. I think there's also a there's a decay option. I gotta find that. So anyway, well, I'll have a look through these settings and see what I can find, and then yeah, we'll go for a drive and see what it's like. Alright, so we've just changed the RPM rate limit, closed loop activation, added a 0.5 of a second D-cell cut time, decay time. Still offset of increased to 2000 RPM, just to see what happens there. Idle up didn't change anything, base loop didn't change anything, didn't change. We've changed this to drop it down a little bit. PID, so we've increased the P a little bit. Integral, we've added flat 10% just to try and smooth out everything. And derivative, just added a little bit towards the higher, so as the fluctuations happen, it reacts quicker to it rather than letting it drop and then coming back up. But we'll see what happens. I know I added a little bit more here originally, and it was just, like the throttle body sounded like a machine gun. It was going, and yeah, anyway. Ignition correction, we've added a little bit into the plus 300 here, just to see if we can drop that down. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It might even be this that's causing it. Yeah, we'll find out. We'll go to the car and have a look. D-cell time, we've increased that to 1600 rather than 15. It didn't change the RPM cut time and didn't change anything in here. So go load this up in the car and we'll have a look and see what it does and how it behaves. Hopefully, yeah, like I said, it doesn't happen all the time, but just when it happens, it's like, what the fuck? So we'll switch over to the car. Alright, so I forgot to record this part, so we're coming back to it. This is the log for that pull where the clutch slipped pretty bad. Unfortunately, I can't do vehicle speed for some reason. It just shows up as a green line that just goes flat. It shows the speed, but it doesn't actually show you in a proper graph. So if I go display on a new trace, like it's just flat, but it says what the speed is. It just doesn't show on here. So I don't know. So anyway, we'll remove that and remove that. So you can see we took off here, and then we have pretty much wide open throttle from that green trace here, and then you have the RPM increase. AFRs there don't look too bad, 12.4 instead of 11.8, but did go super rich, 10.5, 10.3, and that was during wheel slip as well. Actually, I think I can bring wheel slip on here. Wheel slip percentage. Yeah, there it is. So you can see wheel slipped right there. It doesn't detect clutch slip though, but you can kind of see this is where the clutch slipped. So 100% throttle, 7.8 psi, 6,000, it stayed at 6,000 and then caught up and then started to increase in the RPM. So the clutch slipped pretty much the entire way from here to here. Yeah, interesting, but the AFR is kept pretty nice. A little tiny bit rich, but not bad. And yeah, pretty basic stuff really. Not as bad as I thought it was. So yeah, I think we're pretty much just going to leave the Haltech to do the tuning mostly. It's doing a pretty good job of it, and I'll show you a log with everything changed and what we're currently working with. So just save that. So we got current log for today, 8 psi exactly, and I've reduced the boost pressure down to 8. I can't run any more than 8. The clutch slips too much. It even slips a little bit at 8, and yeah, it's not worth increasing the boost while the clutch is struggling. Just gives us a second to load up. There it is. And of course, it crashed. Fucking hell. I gotta go fix another workspace again, apparently. Alright, so I had to make a new fucking workspace. Every time I do this, I've got to make a new one. It's driving me mental. So we've got throttle position here, RPM, manifold pressure. We'll just change that to like yellow. Okay, so it went super rich right there. Like, look how rich that is. That's 9.8 AFR. That's rich as hell. But it didn't misfire, which is weird. So we need to pull fuel out and add fuel. So yeah, it just keeps going around in circles. So now I did add some fuel into here, up the top here. So Haltech is removing the fuel as we go. But I've added a little bit of fuel, but I've added too much, obviously. So I think I added about 7% because it was lean, and now it's really, 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 really rich, like super rich. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to fix that up, and then it goes a little bit lean, then it goes a little bit rich, then it goes a little bit lean, and a little bit rich, and a little bit lean. Now, one thing I did notice is the battery voltage is all over the fucking place. So what is a voltage? Battery light, battery. Is there an ECU voltage? No. There's a search function in here. Right, I'm going to find voltage and I'll come back in a minute. Alrighty, I found it. It's under device battery voltage. So you can see here, like this is 15.5 volts right there. And then it drops to 13.6, then 13.8, then 13.5, 13.6, 13.8, 14.2. It was all over the fucking place. Now that doesn't help with trying to tune shit, because if the voltage goes from 13.8 to 15.5, the fuel pump's going to increase in speed, which means the injector duty cycle is going to change, the injector timing is going to change, the fuel pressure is going to change, like everything just gets thrown out the window. And if all that's not right, which it's definitely not, then it's going to cause all sorts of fucking problems. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm just going to have to buy a fucking FD alternator, because I'm sick of working with the RX-8 alternator. FD1's self-regulating, you just give it a exciting voltage through a resistor and it works. So I'm just going to do that. I'll order that tomorrow, hopefully I have it in a few days. But in saying that, this voltage right here was dropped, so it went from 13.67 down to 13.4, which doesn't really mean why this went really rich. But I don't think there's any point tuning further until the alternator's sorted, because if my voltage is going from, like, I've dropped it to 13.8 and it's going to 13.4 and then up to 14.5 and up to 15, it's too unstable to tune this correctly, and I'm just going to go around in circles trying to fix this. So we're going to buy the alternator, chuck it on, get a consistent voltage, stable voltage, and then we can come back and tune this. But unless your voltage is correct, there's no point doing it. It's just, you're just going to fuck around too much, and next time you log, the voltage is going to be 15 volts and it's going to be injecting way too much fuel. You're going to pull some fuel out, and then the voltage next time is going to be 13.3, and then you have to add fuel back in. So I'm going to leave it there, buy the alternator, and then come back and fix this, because yeah, that's not right. Now, technically, if it was 9.8, it should have misfired, because it always misfires at 10.5, and it didn't. So I don't even know if that's correct, because I don't know if that's even possible to go that rich. Who knows? But yeah, it was pulling fine through there. I don't think it's right. So we'll come back at this another day with another alternator, and we'll see how things go.
Alright, so unfortunately I spent the past couple of days tuning the car and didn't realise the problem until this morning. The alternator is charging up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just not stable. And you have a look at the fuel pressure and it's exactly the same thing. It's going 63, 60, 58, 63, down to 55. It's all over the damn place. So I've ordered the alternator. It should be here hopefully by Friday. So I've got about a week to wait for that. And then we'll reassess the tune and go from there. But it's pretty fucking difficult to tune this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm struggling. Like every time I look at it, I'm like, where the hell am I going wrong with this? It's been a nightmare. But at least the fuel side is, the long-term trims will look after the car mostly. It's just I can't get a stable log because the alternator is changing too much and everything's changing. So we'll leave it there. We will come back in about a week or two, and once the alternator's on, get another log and see if that sorts out nearly all of our problems. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions at all, definitely drop a comment, or if you've got any suggestions, let me know. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I really do not have much of an idea of what I'm doing, but I'm making it work as I go and figuring it out while trying not to blow up the engine. And like most people know me, I'd rather figure shit out myself and break something than pay someone else to do the job for me. Because next time when I have to tune this one, I already know what I'm doing by then, hopefully. If you've got any suggestions, definitely leave me a comment. I'll reply to everybody. So anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.